In today's episode, we're going to continue Treated Like Trash, our investigation into the 2008 death of 20-year-old Amanda Wienckowski in Buffalo, New York. Today, we're going to dig into a subject that, over the course of our investigation, has been the source of huge frustration for me, and that is the questionable job the medical examiner did on her report of the autopsy she performed on Amanda. And the inexplicable reason local Buffalo media let her get away with it when the second autopsy came out. When Dr. Dianne Vertes, or Vertes, I know I'm mispronouncing it, but however her name is pronounced, when she published her autopsy report, she determined that Amanda's cause of death was acute opioid intoxication. So basically an accidental overdose. In our previous episode, Rick and I discussed why we think she was wrong to conclude that, including reading an interpretation of Amanda's toxicology report from a forensic toxicologist named Donald Hoffman. You can head over to Amanda's case page on our website to read Dr. Hoffman's report. But in short, Dr. Hoffman stated that the toxicological findings couldn't be regarded as having caused the death of Amanda Wienckowski. Rather, he said, they were incidental to her death. The cause of death, he notes after having examined the second autopsy report submitted by Dr. Silvia Comparini, was strangulation. With that, I want to show you a report from WIVB News, Channel 4, a local TV station in Buffalo, New York. This report was broadcast on January 6th, 2012.
Some new developments in the mysterious death of Amanda Wienckowski. Two separate autopsies are still telling two different stories. News 4's Dr. Peter Ostrow spoke exclusively to the Erie County Medical Examiner. Doctor?
Jackie, the findings in the two autopsies were startlingly different. So the Erie County Medical Examiner reviewed the case again and didn't change her mind. She discussed the discrepancies with me this afternoon. What happened to Amanda Wienckowski? Can an autopsy tell for sure? The Erie County Medical Examiner's office ruled that her death was due to a drug overdose, but her family thought she had been murdered. They contacted a pathologist in California who re-examined the body and concluded she had been strangled and had struggled. But Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Dianne Vertes doesn't accept that. She had looked for it.
Because my suspicion is high and she comes in as she does, of course I'm suspecting that it's a homicide. So I'm looking for that.
Was she strangled? Dr. Vertes says no.
What you look for in manual strangulation then are all of these muscles inside your neck. We reflect each one individually, and we're looking for bruises in those muscles.
And those bruises weren't there. When the outside pathologist's findings were revealed at a press conference, the attorneys showed me pictures that were claimed to display the effects of strangulation and struggle, but they weren't persuasive.
She points to no picture to show that, although I don't know how she could, and there's no evidence in any photomicrograph or anything that she provided that could show me what she's talking about.
But there was a high level of drugs in the body.
Does this meet the standard? Is this enough for a person to have died from? Yes, it is.
Dr. Vertes and her colleagues maintain their original diagnosis was correct.
Every person that comes in here has a story, and they're often very tragic stories. But sad events don't necessarily translate to what a family thinks happens to their child or their loved one.
We discussed several other points of contention. The claims by the outside pathologist aren't documented by photos, and Dr. Vertes has a well-reasoned rebuttal for each one. Our entire interview will be posted on our website, wivb.com, for you to see. For News 4, I'm Dr. Peter Ostrow of the UB Medical School.
I've scoured the internet to see if I can find the full interview that Dr. Ostrow said they posted to their website. I can't find it anywhere. Channel 4 doesn't have it on any public archive, so I guess we're just going to work with what we got. I think what I'm going to do here is go over a couple of excerpts from Dr. Vertes' report and then see what Dr. Comparini had to say about it. Then we'll start looking at some of the evidence. In Dr. Vertes' autopsy report on line 52, it says there are no injuries of the neck. Later on lines 125 through 128, she says, and this is a long quote, examination of the soft tissues, cartilaginous and bony structures of the neck, including a complete anterior and posterior neck dissection, demonstrates no abnormalities with the usual anatomic relationships preserved. There are no intramuscular hemorrhages or fractures of the hyoid bone or laryngeal cartilages demonstrated. What she's talking about here are the main clues that usually lead an examiner to point towards strangulation. But I want to bring up something else that I noticed in Dr. Vertes' report. It's on lines 49 and 50. And this is what they say. It's very short. The tongue is described elsewhere. But nowhere in the rest of the report is the tongue talked about at all. Which, makes me wonder, did Dr. Vertes just copy and paste a prepared paragraph? Now, I wouldn't blame her if she did. I do that in business, and lawyers do it all the time, but was she so rushed that she just copied and pasted in a paragraph that included that sentence, but never actually examined Amanda's tongue? And the 3 other medical examiners that signed off on this autopsy report, did they not notice that? Now that I'm thinking about it, is it possible this entire autopsy report is just boilerplate with very little actual reporting of the examination? And is that why Erie County worked so hard in court to fight Leslie when she wanted to exhume Amanda and have the second autopsy done? And then later, is that the reason they withheld tissue samples and organs from Dr. Comparini? They put up a serious fight. Okay, let's go see what Dr. Comparini has to say about Amanda's neck. On page 27 of Dr. Comparini's report, there's a section titled Manual Strangulation. Starting on line 22 of that page, it reads, the neck organs, including the tongue, hyoid bone, larynx, including the distal portions of the trachea, were not found in the biohazard red plastic bag contained in the thoracoabdominal cavity. For those of you who, like me a couple of months ago, didn't know, when an autopsy is performed, at the end of the autopsy, all of the tissues and organs that were removed from the body are put back into a biohazard bag, and those are placed into the empty cavity of the decedent's body. When Dr. Comparini received Amanda's remains and opened the bag, all of the neck tissues and organs were missing. But wait a minute, on line 25, it says, see photograph number 50. Didn't Dr. Vertes say something about no photos?
She points to no picture to show that, although I don't know how she could.
So Dr. Vertes says that Dr. Comparini didn't provide any photographic evidence demonstrating what she was talking about. Let's come back to this one. Dr. Comparini's description of the external injuries of the neck begins on page 29 of her report. 29. Holy crap, this thing is 78 pages long. Dr. Vertes' entire report is 6 pages long. Okay, so page 29, starting on line 7, Dr. Comparini describes 3 oval-shaped contusions located primarily at the thyroid notch, or Adam's apple. It refers us to Exhibit 4, which is the exhibit Dr. Ostrow talked about in his news report. But that's not the only reference this section makes. It also says to take a look at photos 11, 43, 62, 6, 7, 25, JPF 0016, JPF 0017, JPF 0025, JPF 0026, JPF 0050, JPF 0062, JPF 0063, and diagram 1. And then she goes on to describe the interior injuries of the neck, and she finds multiple hemorrhages and refers to the photographs JPF 0076, 0077, 0002, 0078, 0021, and exhibits 1 and 1A. She notes hemorrhages in the artery, jugular vein, bite marks on the tongue, and severe congestion of the thyroid gland. She then refers the reader to 10 more images, 4 more exhibits, a diagram, and a page later on in the report. This report goes on and on in great detail with an extreme amount of care put into documenting photographically and through hand-noted diagrams. Now, both autopsy reports, by the way, are available for review on our website. Just go to our website and browse over to Amanda's case page. In Dr. Comparini's report, you'll see all of the diagrams and exhibits. What you won't find are the photographs referenced in the report. We have them, we have all of them, but to protect Leslie's emotional well-being, we're not going to publish those.
Claims by the outside pathologist aren't documented by photos, and Dr. Vertes has a well-reasoned rebuttal for each one.
The claims made by the outside pathologist aren't documented by photos, and Dr. Vertes has a well-reasoned rebuttal for each one. That's what Dr. Peter Ostrow said. And that last part might be true. But the first part, that is a complete and utter lie. Dr. Comparini's quote-unquote claims are documented by 294 photos and 16 diagrams. It is completely convincing. And misinformation like this, spread by Buffalo's News 4 team and a professor of pathology nonetheless, that has contributed to the public's apathy toward Amanda's case. And that apathy has translated into zero public pressure on the DA's office to reopen the case. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below.